How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, we've seen the All Blacks give the French a complete whitewash, and we now look into what's happening next. I want to break down their upcoming games. They don't exactly have many coming up, but I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are and what game you guys are expecting and looking forward to most. So please like, subscribe. As always, it really does help the channel grow, and let's get into it. So, first up, we can't not talk about this because South Africa versus France, 8th of November. This is going to be one of those games is going to be for the ages. South Africa, they have a very, very stacked year this year. They got multiple games to be running, and the French are going to be coming in hot with this. The French side that played the All Blacks is going to be gone. We are going to be seeing the best of the best. We might even see the man, the myth, the legend, Antoine Dupont, come back from injury. Oh my word, I wish he comes back because I want to be seeing the French best at their best playing up against the Springboks, because I want to be seeing Malvaka, Mofana, I want to be seeing Barassi, I want to be seeing Thomas Ramos, Romain Ntamack, Antoine Dupont, Atisogbe, Biarbiare, Damian Penaud. These are players that I cannot wait to see. I just cannot wait to see that these monsters playing up against the Springboks. The Springboks are going to be coming strong. You can see from the games that they're having now, they are testing multiple different combinations. There's a lot of rotation. We have a lot of standout players like your Morne van den Berg. We have the likes of like just so many players. I mean, even your Sasha Feinberg. We've seen Vincent Situka. We've seen Klabakanye. We've seen Ivan Ruas, Jasper Visa, and Kobus Visa. You know, I'm really hoping we're seeing the likes of Ethan Hooker come through the ranks, Cameron Hanacom. I want to see him get a bit more game time, But then we have the monsters of your Ibanetsabet, your Sio Khaleesi's, Damian Dialende, Kurt Lee Arendse, right? All of these absolute monsters, Andre Esterhuizen, that, they're just solid. They're there. They're ready. When you have a player like Vincent Koch, who's just there ready to rip off heads, Oxenche, again, the best loose head, in world rugby, in my opinion. Not necessarily being biased, but he just is. And this is going to be exciting to see this. But then after that, we then lead into France versus Fiji on the 15th of November. Now, this one for me, it's pretty one-sided traffic. We are going to be seeing France absolutely decimate the Fijians, but don't get me wrong, the Fijians, they're called the Flying Fijians for a reason. They are so fast. They attack so hard. We saw the number that they put on Scotland. If you come at them thinking that you're going to run all over them, think again. They've got really good talent. It's just unfortunately when it comes down to defending, going back, keeping their defensive line in shape, running back into position, they do falter. They aren't able to keep up with high pressure. The French, I do feel they are going to have far too much for them. I think it's going to be a relatively simple win, but anything's possible. Fiji, they are not one to sleep on at all. So that's the 15th of November. And then we are seeing France versus Australia on the 22nd of November. Now, obviously, Australia are trying their absolute best to get something out of this Lions tour. Unfortunately, they won't be gaining anything in terms of world ranking. They are going to be trying to make the most out of games like this where they can really start gaining points. A big win over France could do so much. And again, when you have players like Suwali, McWright, I love Taniela Tupou. Obviously, he is an experienced player. Same thing with like James Slipper. These are key players for them, but they have a lot of talent on their books that is really going to be shining. So we'll see how this one goes. I do still feel that Australia have this one in hand. I can't see the Australians doing too much damage to the French. But again, I mean, we saw the likes of what they were able to do in the Autumn Nations in 2024. They managed to grab a pretty good win up against England. Whether that's Australia doing really good and giving that grit, or whether it's England absolutely crumbling, which they did happen to do a fair amount in that Autumn Nations in the last few minutes, allowing a lot of teams to grab points off of them. So yeah, this is an interesting one. Like I say, they don't have that many games left of this year. I mean, with South Africa, they have something like 10 games in 2025. This is it for France. Obviously, they had a tough tour of New Zealand, and like it definitely took their toll. But it's definitely promising for a lot of the players that ended up getting time, like your Nolan Lagarek, again at the Sogbe, Mikal Giard. We saw performances from Erdochio. We saw performances from Brennan. I thought he had a pretty good tour as well. I enjoyed seeing him playing. Obviously, Brennan is he's got royalty in his blood, rugby royalty. So always lovely to see him coming through and putting in some good performances. So yeah, France have a lot of talent, and I was going to be seeing what they are going to be doing at the back end of the year. There's only one team that I cannot see them beating, although they are going to be putting up a very good fight. And that is South Africa. I think South Africa are going to have a little bit too much for them. I can't see this being a complete run out. I cannot see South Africa absolutely destroying France. I do feel that this is going to be a relatively tight game. I think this game is going to be very physical. Obviously the Springboks, they love the physicality. We saw in the previous games how they were opting for the scrums at every single point. I think they are going to be doing something relatively similar. Galthié more than likely has learned from all of these experience up against the Springboks, but this is going to be a fire game. I think this is going to be definitely one of the biggest performances that is going to be needed for France. So I'm really hoping that Antoine Dupont is going to be ready and ready to go, because they are going to need to pull out all the stops to be able to take out the South African side, who just seem to be so dominant. Plus, if they do want to be gaining on those little bit of points, keeping up, and trying to catch up to the likes of your Ireland and your New Zealand, they are definitely going to need to pull a proper rabbit out their hat and put in a big performance. So I can definitely see France getting wins over Fiji and Australia, but otherwise South Africa, I do feel that is going to be a big fat loss for them. And I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think the French can beat the Springboks? Looking at the sides, both sides have amazing depth. I'm asking this question here as unbiased as possible. Looking at it objectively, I do feel that the structure that South Africa has in place is going to be far too much. They are far too good. They make. I say this, the amount of mistakes that they make is a lot lower than a lot of other teams, but it's what they're able to do with the ball when they have the ball, which makes them so effective. Plus, that pure strength and ability in the scrums and the lineouts makes them a very dominant force. I don't feel that there is another team in world rugby that is as dominant in set plays as South Africa is. So, and again, we've seen Rassie, he likes to force that physicality on teams. He will make sure that you are playing the games under South Africa's terms. They do not want to be playing or chasing a game. So they're going to make you play to play with them instead of them playing with you. So it's going to be interesting. Like I say, I do feel the only game that the French are going to lose for the rest of the year is going to be that South Africa game. But drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.